Hi, okay, welcome to session 8. So we have our normal recap, which is, got quite a bit in there now, hasn't it? So I want you to hit that pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, there's the answers for you. Let's not go up too high. There you go. So those are the answers. Again, as normal, hit pause, mark, and then press play when you're ready. Okay, so I've highlighted a couple. If you have got those right, then really, really well done. I'm not going to go through them massively. I'm really just wanting to point out a couple of things. This one here, I threw in because what can happen sometimes is we go into robot mode. We've been doing lots and lots of work on expressions that have that multiplication sign. So we're timesing and we're dealing with the rules and what we do with that. That we can actually then forget about our adding and taking away. So I threw that one in just to keep us on our toes, really. So when you are adding and subtracting, you're literally kind of seeing them like they're gangs. So if I've got 5 D's, I've got some more D's. I've got some more D's here. I have 3. And it tells me to take them away. So when I do 5 take 3, I end up with 2 Ds. So that's where the 2D came from. And then the Gs work in the same way. The first set of Gs are positive. So we're at number 2 on the number line. When we take 7 away, we go down that number line to -5. So that's why we've got the result we've got for that one. And then for this one, again, it's more about just trying to keep you on your toes. We don't want you getting into a routine of, I can do it when I know the question. We want you to be able to say, oh, that's a bit different. Let me think about it. Okay, what am I used to? I'm used to having 1x and I've got 2. Can I sort that out? And yes, of course you can. 5x take away 3x is 2x. So actually it's 2x minus 10. They've just stretched it out a little bit and we've got to tidy it up. So things to watch out for, because they can throw us. They really can just throw us off our stride. They're little details that we mustn't allow to kind of get in and upset us in any way. Okay, so generally, I hope that went well. So we're going to be looking at composite shapes today. Composite shapes are shapes that don't have their own formulas. They're made up basically of putting 2 shapes or more. It doesn't just have to be 2, it could be 3, 4, whatever, but it's putting shapes together. So if I was to just pop a little line here, you can see that this shape is made of 2 rectangles. Now, when I'm working in just rectangles and nothing else, then I'm in quite a good, comfortable place because I know about rectangles. I know that to find the area of a rectangle, I've got to do base times height. I should know that the perimeter is add all the edges. Okay, and I'm going to transfer that knowledge into this question to help me find areas and perimeters of composite shapes. So let's take a little look at this particular question. If I had to find the perimeter, nothing's changed about that word. It still means add all the edges. And if I was to work my way around, I would say, right, there's 6 centimeters, add this edge. I don't have it. I don't actually have a number there. Add this edge. Again, same problem. Once I get here, I'm all right. I've got numbers and I have numbers all the way around, apart from those 2 edges. And if I don't have those 2 edges, I can't work out a correct value for the perimeter. And this is one of the most common things with this type of question. They're not going to give you all the edges. And your first job is always to work out the missing edges. Now, Some people are fine with this, and some people it just really confuses them. So I'm going to do my first example based around using a little bit of color to help us see what's going on in this question. So if I take the base of this shape, it has a long length, and we're told it's 14 centimeters. This length is mirrored by the other two horizontal edges. Here is the start, same position as the start of this line, and here is the end, the same position as this one. So these two lines, here and here, will add up to the exact same value. It's like taking that 14 and just kind of splitting it apart. They're still going to add to be 14. They're just in a different position on the page. Again, I don't think this is something that you have to do for every question, but if you get yourself in a little bit of a muddle, this is really, really nice. So I've got two short edges that make the long edge. I've got a 6 on one of the short edges. I haven't got anything on the other, and I've got 14 here. 6 plus a number I don't know is going to equal that 14. All right, so the missing number there is 8 centimeters. 14 take away 6 is probably where you're comfortable and where you would be able to just do your maths without the lines. But if you are getting in a pickle, that is a great way to deal with it. And I'll show it one more time with the vertical lines. So if we again look at the longest possible line, this one here starts at the same place, but just cuts at that point, picked back up here and stops at the same position as the long line. So I know those two green ones, I've got a short and another short, and that is going to equal my long. If I look at the information I've got, nothing on that one, so I'm going to leave that one blank. 8 on that one. 12 on the long one. So I know that this plus this must equal my 12. So I can see that my missing number is 4 centimeters. Or I just do 12 take 8 equals 4. Okay. So that was just something that I hope is useful and something you can use, like I say, if you've got yourself in a little bit of a pickle or anything like that. Okay, now I have found all the missing edges, I can go all the way around the outside. I can pick up all the numbers as I go, and I will be able to work out the perimeter. So the perimeter is 6 plus 4 plus 8 plus 8 plus 14 plus 12. And when you add all of that together, you get 52 centimeters. Perimeter is just a length, so it is literally just 52 centimeters. Now we're going to look at the area, okay? Area is about multiplying base times height. Rectangles have right angles in the corners. So what you could do, once you've put your split in to find the two rectangles, I have gone down, I could have gone across, there's no rule there. So I'll just do it. I could have gone that way and made that split. There really is no rule at all. You will do whatever sort of just comes to you, really. I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to pop my right angle in. Remember, my right angle points to the two edges I need to multiply. We learned that in grade 2. So here I've got 12 times 6. 12 times 6. Okay. That's going to give me 72. And I'm going to do another right angle. And it's pointing to my 8 and my 8. So I've got 8 times 8, which is 64. The area is going to be both those rectangles added together. I want the total area of the shape, That's going to give me 136 centimeters squared because it's area. Okay. So that's our first example. That's what we're going to be doing today. And hopefully we're going to be awesome. So let's do the next one. So there it is. And we'll just get rid of that so it doesn't distract us. Okay, now, if you're already feeling fairly confident with this, you could press pause and just go for it. If you want another walkthrough, it's absolutely fine. We can do that. Entirely up to you, isn't it? All right, so I'm just going to get going. You hit pause if you want to. Okay, something that I did want to point out, when we did the area on the last question, it was easy because I'd already found all the missing edges when I was trying to find the perimeter. But if this was a question that was just asking for area only, if I was to do a split here, then this would be one of my rectangles. And I wouldn't be ready to go on finding the area because this edge here is missing. The 20 stretches all the way across. So whilst it's really tempting to use the 20, we're not going to. We've got a missing edge here. So because of the way that we're doing the session, where we're always looking at finding the perimeter and then finding the area, it makes the area feel like it's an easy job because we've already done the legwork for perimeter. So either way, if you've got missing edges for area or perimeter, you're going to need to find them, okay? So let's do the missing edges first of all. So let's have a look. I've got 20 on the long line. So let me look at the opposite horizontals. I've got 8 on that one. 20 take 8 is 12. So I've got 12 centimeters going in there. The long is given to me again on this vertical. So these two must add up to 10. If I've got 2 there, then I've got 8 there. Now I'm ready to do the perimeter. 20 plus 10 plus 8 plus 8 plus 12 plus 2. And when I add all of that together, I get 60 centimeters. Okay, so I've put my cut in already, so I might as well leave it there. So there we go. This rectangle, I don't want the 10, I want the 12 and the 2. And actually, if I put my right angle in, I can see it pointing to those two. So area, 2 times 12, 24. But I'm pointing to 10 and 8. So 10 times 8 equals 80. So my area is going to be 80 plus 24, which is 104 centimeters squared. Okay, so if you had a go at that before, before you saw it and you did well, then great work. This one is the next one we're going to practice. I really do want you to pause this time and hit play after you have found both the perimeter and the area. Okay, so good luck with that. Okay, now for this one, when I look at my longer edge, it doesn't have the numbers. So I'll go over to the 2 shorter ones and they must add to make it. So that is 10 centimeters. And then I've got 3 plus 5, which is 8 centimeters. I can now do the perimeter really easily. 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10. And that is going to equal 36 centimeters. Just as a quick side note, if you're not actually writing this down, you could be losing a method mark. It's really, really important that whatever you are doing, you are communicating to your examiner. It would be awful to put all of that in the calculator and just write 36 and get 1 out of 2 marks. Yeah, we don't want to do that. What would be even worse is if you put that in the calculator, accidentally hit something wrong. Let's say you got 38 out instead, you write 38, you've got nothing. You've got no marks because the answer's wrong. So you really must show all your working out. Okay, so the area this time. So I'm going to split this way just for a change. I'm going to put my right angle in. I'm deliberately doing something because I need you to be really mindful. My arrow is pointing to 5. It's just right above the arrowhead. It's going to make me want to use that. But you've got to remember it's the whole of that length that my arrow is pointing at. It's not pointing at a number, it's pointing at an edge. And I need to make sure I'm using the number that goes with that edge, which is down here, 8. So don't just randomly put a right angle in and then not think any more about it. It's really, really important. So for this bottom one, I've got 8 times 6, which is 48. For this one, I've got edge 3 times edge 4, which is 12. So the area of this one is going to be 12 plus 48. And that is going to give me 60 centimeters squared. If you got that right, great. Really, really, really good. Okay, we're going to look at one that's slightly different now, because we could be given composite shapes that are made with triangles and rectangles, not just rectangles. It all works in exactly the same way. Perimeter means add all the edges. Area means work out the areas of the individual shapes and then add them together. We have to remember how to find the area of a triangle. We'll obviously see that in this example if we have forgotten, but hopefully you've remembered it. But we're going to approach it in exactly the same way. Looking at the edges, I don't have any of them missing, so that's helpful. So I haven't got to do any extra work. So perimeter is going to equal 10 plus 12.8 plus 18 plus 10. When I add all of that together, I get 50.8 centimeters. So I've done the perimeter. That was fairly straightforward, fairly easy. Area is now just a little extra detail. So I'm going to split my shape here so that I've got my rectangle and my triangle. When I look at my rectangle, I can actually see it's a square because the two edges are 10 and 10. So I can go straight into doing that bit. So that's 100. Area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2. So it's virtually the same as a rectangle, but with that extra step of halving. I need the right angle. So let's take a look at the triangle. That is not a right angle. That is not a right angle. My right angle is here. Really important with the triangle that we put that right angle in and we point to those two edges, base times height. If we look at this triangle, we've been given this edge, okay, and we can work out this edge and we can work out this edge. We've got all 3 edges and we don't want to choose the wrong edge. So I need this one. There's no number on it, but it mirrors this one. So I know it's 10. I need this one. The whole of that length is 18. At the top here, where I've got another horizontal line, I've got 10. So I know that that length there is 10. So from there to there, it is 10. Which means the length from here to here is 8. So I can now see that my right angle is pointing to 10 and 8. So I'm going to be doing 10 times 8, which is 80. And then I've got to divide by 2. I'm going to half that, and it's going to be 40. So my area is 100 plus 40, which is 140 centimeters squared. Okay. Base times height divided by 2. It's an additional formula that we need secure. We need our memories to bring this back, okay? All right. That is going to be our last example before you go on and do some practice. Have a go at it. So hit that pause button and press play when you're ready. Okay, so it's quite a busy diagram. There's lots of information held within it, and we need to be picking out the bits that are important and using them at the right time, okay? So when I look at this, first of all, I can see on the edges that I've got some dashes. I've got 2 dashes here and I've got 1 dash here. And these dashes match. It means they're equal in length. So whilst this has a missing number, I can get it from here because it's an equal length. 1 dash is 4.5, so that dash is 4.5. The 2 dashes are 4 centimeters, so those will be 4 centimeters. I now have enough information to find the perimeter. The perimeter is not using this 6. This is a piece of information about the top of my shape here, going all the way to the tippy point, the longest point of the shape here. And it's giving me some information about that distance. But it has nothing to do with perimeter. It's not on the edge of our shape, so we must ignore that. So my perimeter is 8 plus 4 plus 4.5 plus 4.5 plus 4. And when I add all of that together, I get 25 centimeters. And then I can get to work on the area. So the split has to be here. So I've got my rectangle and my triangle. The rectangle is nice and straightforward. 8 times 4, which is 32. My triangle, however, is not quite so straightforward. I want base times height. I always want base times height when I'm doing my triangle, okay? The base and the height always makes a right angle. When I look at my triangle, I have an acute angle. There's definitely no right angle there. That's the same. And that looks almost like it could be a right angle, but I can't assume it. It's not being marked with a box, and I can't use it as a right angle for that reason. So I want to take the tallest point of my triangle and drop it down to the base, or to that edge that it's opposite, okay? And if I do that, I make the right angles that I need. So I've now made 2 triangles that are absolutely the same. They're identical triangles, and they now have a right angle. So what I'm actually going to do, because there's a lot of information in that diagram, is I'm going to try and draw this triangle just a little bit away so that I can make sense of what I've got. I know that that is 4.5. I know my right angle is going to point to the base and the height. Okay, so it's a kind of rotated shape, because that doesn't really look like a base, does it? It looks like the top of it. But if I was to pick this up now and just twist it round, make it a bit bigger as well, then you could see that that would then be base and height. And it makes sense when you see it like that. So this is just a triangle that's been rotated a little bit. So it loses the detail a bit. It loses the detail and kind of can mess with your head, but it's all there. All right, my problem, first of all, is going to be this edge, because we don't have either of those. So let's concentrate on this edge here. This edge here is a line that we've just drawn vertical. I do have other vertical lines in this diagram, don't I? I have that one there, which is 4, and I have that one there that starts at the same position as my 4, but goes all the way to my end position, to the point of my triangle. So I know from here to here, it's 6 centimeters. If that's 4, that is 2. So I now can put 2 on that missing edge. We're going to do the same sort of thing now with our horizontal. So I've got that edge matching that edge there. I've got the whole of this as 8. This line, because that's an isosceles triangle, is splitting slap bang in the middle, which means it's halving, and that is now 4. So I know I've got 4 here. Base times height divided by 2 is going to give me 4 times 2, which is 8. Divide that by 2, I've got 4. So my triangles are 4. I've got 2 of them. So I've got 4 in one and 4 in the other. My area is 32 plus 4 plus 4. Okay, and that is going to give me 40 centimeters squared. So that question is definitely a little bit more complex. I think we'll agree with that. A little bit more going on. Lots of detail that we needed to be aware of and needed to understand in order to solve that one. So that one is at the higher end without a shadow of a doubt. It's nice to have seen one that you've had completely sort of walked through. You will get ones like that to practice, but you have this. You can always revisit, you can always rewatch and just see all those steps happening again. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. You have got a sheet with a whole load of questions. There we go. Let me get it so you can see everything. Okay, have a go at those questions. Mark as you go, so flip between the two. Do let it play on so that you can mark and then go back and do another question. Don't do them all in one go. Or of course, you can always use the answers in the back of the workbook.